Welcome and thanks for joining me, everybody. Today we are talking about the very fundamentals of guitar technique. Yes, I show this on the very first day of my beginning guitar class, but even if you've been playing a while, even for a few years, you might want to strap in because there's some really good information here. I've seen people who've been playing for a few months, even a few years, who are struggling with certain things about guitar playing, and the reason is these fundamentals aren't in place. So first of all, make sure your nails are short enough on your left hand. Very simple thing to do, but if they're not, they really get in the way. The big thing, how to hold the guitar. You see, I have got the guitar here on an upward angle. This is what we want. So if I'm using a strap, and even if I'm standing, the strap is doing the work and it's giving me this nice upward angle. But here's an interesting thing. Whether it's a rock star or it's the singer-songwriter at your local cafe, most people, when they're using the strap, have the guitar at this angle, which is the angle we want. But strangely, when we sit down, we throw it over here on the opposite side and the neck goes down, our hand turns upside down, and we have a whole other set of guitar techniques. Life is too short. You don't want to have to work on more than one set of techniques. You want to move yourself to the front of your chair, and then you're going to have to spread your knees, let the guitar fall in between there. If you back up and you're seated like this, well then the guitar kind of falls on your legs and you can't really get that angle. Pretty much everything I'm telling you, the end game is to be on the tips of our fingers. When we're on the tips of our fingers, chords come out cleanly, scales, single notes come out cleanly, we sound a lot better, and it's a lot easier to play. Now the other way you can get this angle is to use a footstool if you don't want to use a strap. You either use a strap or the footstool. You don't use both. It would be redundant. They're both doing the same job. You're putting your foot on that. And matter of fact, if you're a right-handed guitar player, you're putting your left foot on that. You shouldn't be holding the guitar with your body. The strap should be doing that work, or the footstool should be doing that work. So I'm going to play a little C chord here. And what I'm going for is bend, bend, bend. And you really need to be on the tip of the finger, particularly when playing chords, so that when I play this note and I play the one on the next string below, they both come out nice and clear. As soon as that finger tips a little bit, you stop the note. My shoulder is relaxed, my elbow is relaxed. I'm not holding it up like this. That also puts a little curve in my arm here like this. Imagine that there is a line that runs down the back of the neck of the guitar down the middle. You want to keep your thumb at that line or this way. You don't want your thumb to creep up. So the thumb should be in the middle of the hand. If I were to remove the guitar, it's touching this way. If you can do it, your thumb should be like this, not like this. For my classes, I use a pick that is a 0.73. I like that for our class because we're strumming in the class and we're doing scales and we're doing reading, we're doing single notes. So it's a good thickness for all those. You want to make a fist, not like this, just this with your thumb along the side here. I'm placing the pick in between the thumb and that bent index finger. You literally want to hold your arm straight out like this. Pick point is facing right toward the floor, and then just let the wrist relax. You're not forcing it down, just wherever gravity and weight takes it, that's what you want. Then you hook it in. I roll this under and I put my pinky nail on the guitar. I like the nail on it because as I move up the strings, this nail is sliding, and the whole mechanism that I've got here is just moving like this. The angle's not changing. Again, we want to keep things consistent. We want to do what's called economy of motion. So as little motion as possible to get the result. I'm hitting the pick flat. I'm not hitting the side. The side gives this scrapey sound. This doesn't have a conventional sound hole, but you kind of want to hit right where the sound hole meets the wood. If you go back, you get that sparkly sound, which is also good for effect. If you go too far this way, you get a rounder sound, which is also good. But most of the time, we kind of split the difference and we get a marriage of those two sounds. The pick hits flat. When When I strike the 6th string, my pick rests on the 5th string. When I strike notes on the 5th string, it rests on the 4th string. This is kind of what my hand looks like, but turned under. Now you notice that the pick is being pulled through. It is not being pushed down. So I'm using weight. I don't really have to push this thing in motion. Later on, you might want to try hybrid picking. You might want to start using these fingers in conjunction with the pick. So you want them to be free, and you don't want to have to kind of lose one because you're holding the pick unnecessarily with 3 fingers. It's a very light item. Now, when you're strumming, it's a little different technique. You can open your hand up. You don't, and you're moving through all the strings. And depending on if you're doing like a little palm muting technique, that angle may change, but it's a grosser motion. There are more strings. It's not as precise, if you will, as hitting one note at a time. One thing about having played before and kind of being self-taught and not having a good teacher to really guide you through this kind of stuff is that you develop bad habits very quickly and they can be hard to break. We all have different size hands and bodies, and the guitars we play may be of different size and lots of different factors. So these things can change, but this is a really great starting point. It only happened once, but I had someone really get upset about me teaching holding the electric guitar like this, or using a footstool when seated with an electric guitar, or a non-classical guitar, as opposed to swinging it around like that. Classical guitar is not that different from electric guitar or steel string acoustic guitar, especially where the left hand is concerned. We're playing the same chords. We're trying to make the same clean sound. So the classical guitar has been around for a few hundred years. So let's learn from other people's mistakes, other people's vision, and not have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Guitar on an upward angle, whether you use a strap, whether you use a footstool, everything is about the tips of the fingers on the left hand. You want curve, curve, curve. You want the thumb in the middle of your hand. You want it in the middle of the neck. You don't want it to climb up this way. You can go this way and create more space. We also want space between our hand and the neck of the guitar. You want your shoulder relaxed. You want your elbow to hang. Over here, we've got a loose fist. Pick facing right toward the floor. Relaxed, hooking this in. Pinky nail on the guitar. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will enjoy practicing, taking new songs you're learning, taking old songs you already know, getting them to sound as best as you can make them sound, and I think that'll make you happier, and it'll make your roommates happier as well. Please check out my latest original instrumental album. It's called In-Defense-of-Daydreaming. 10 very guitar-forward instrumental tracks, from solo pieces, duets, all the way up to full jazz fusion bands, country fusion bands, rock bands. So lots of guitar-forward fun. We will see you next video.